President Donald Trump is expected to sign an executive action directing federal resources toward building a border wall with Mexico. Mr. Trump will also announce new restrictions on visas and refugees for people coming to the U.S. from countries associated with terrorism. Joining us here in L.A. to discuss President Trump's plans, Edina, Lekovic, Communications Director for the Muslim Public Affairs Council. Edina, good to have you with us once again.
Thank you.
When you look at the list of countries that the president is looking to, as we understand it, restrict access to the United States from, we're looking at Iraq, Iran, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, Syria, and Yemen, Muslim-majority countries. Your thoughts on these plans?
Well, tonight I can't help but feel anything but sick to my stomach. This is the divisive, bigoted rhetoric that we saw on the campaign trail coming to life in the first 5 days of this administration. This is the Muslim ban that he called for, dressed up in selective countries' clothing, so that it's not an outright ban on a religious group, but as you said, countries that all have in common one predominant faith group. So this is just the first of a set of discriminatory policies that we're expecting to come down the pipeline, and that's what should be raising alarm bells for everyone out there who showed up for the women's marches around the world this weekend, and for those who have said to themselves, if they call for Muslims to register, I will register. Now is the time to do a gut check, because this is the first step in a process that where folks of conscience, people who are standing up against this, will have to use their voices, stand up and protect religious freedom for everyone. Because if they're coming for us today, we just know where this pattern takes us. It was Executive Order 9066 that authorized the internment of Japanese Americans, so it doesn't take more than an executive order.
Did you think it would happen this quickly? The first week isn't even done, and here we are. And did you harbour some hope that maybe this policy or this campaign promise would have been softened or sort of quietly gone away?
I mean, we could only hope that, but we knew that the stark reality was that some sort of aggressive immigration action was going to take place under the guise of extreme vetting, but what we're really talking about is selective targeting around nationality and religion disguised in other ways. So what we expected was that it would come down to countries of origin, because that's what the Bush administration did with NSEERS, the National System of Entry-Exit.
Yeah.
It's important to note that that program was supposed to keep us safer as a country. Billions of dollars spent, hundreds of thousands of lives impacted, zero prosecutions related to terrorism. So that is what we were expecting, and this is just an even more aggressive move, frankly, than I expected, considering this is a president who has both, whose party controls both houses of Congress. Why go with an executive order when you can engage in the legislative process in a way that would be that would uphold the Constitution? So I'm hoping that this is something that will be challenged by the public and by Republican lawmakers, frankly, not to mention Democrats.
The point has been made, it's not just about, the people that he won't allow in, but that even for people who are already here from those countries, they are being stigmatized with this move.
Absolutely, and we know the connection between political rhetoric and the impact on actual lives. There was a study done about this last year where they studied the difference between when President Bush said Islam is a religion of peace and we're not at war with Islam, we're at odds with terrorism. Hate crimes went down in the subsequent weeks. When Donald Trump called for an outright ban on Muslims during the campaign season, hate crimes went up in the subsequent weeks. These policies now in place go beyond, this new policy goes beyond that even into something that will have very real impacts, not just on the legal status and travel ability of folks, but their very safety on the streets. And so, again, it's a time where we need to pull out love. We need to pull out ways of knowing each other and of expressing solidarity.
Okay.
Edina,
thank you so much for being with us.
We really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.